Okay, so get this. You sent in this article about something called NDVI. And I got to admit, when I first saw it, I was picturing like some kind of super spy tech straight out of Mission Impossible.
Aha, I can see that.
But it turns out it is high tech, just with way more plants involved.
Right.
We're talking about using satellites to check on the health of plants all the way from space. Like, can you imagine just looking at a satellite image and knowing if your tomato plants need a little extra water?
It's pretty amazing stuff.
It really is. So today we're going to dig into this whole world of NDVI, figure out how it works, why it matters, all that good stuff.
Let's dive in.
All right, so first things first. What exactly is NDVI? I mean, I read the article, but I feel like I need a crash course from the expert.
Well, what's really cool is how this technology taps into this hidden language of plants. Basically, healthy plants have this unique way of interacting with light, and it's like they're sending out a signal we can actually read from space.
Wait, so you're saying plants are basically sending out smoke signals,
Yeah.
but instead of smoke, it's light.
Exactly. It all comes down to how plants absorb and reflect different wavelengths of light. See, healthy plants, those photosynthesizing powerhouses, they absorb practically all the visible red light they can to fuel their growth.
Makes sense. They love that red light.
Right. But here's the thing. They reflect a whole bunch of near-infrared light, which we can't see with our naked eyes.
Okay, so it's the invisible stuff that's key here.
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly. And NDVI, it measures the difference between those two, the reflected near-infrared and the absorbed red light, and that tells us how healthy the plant is.
So it's like plants are giving us a secret handshake, and NDVI is the secret code that lets us in on it.
I love it. But hold on, there's a formula involved too, right? Something about NDVI equals something or other.
You're right. The formula is NDVI equals NIR minus red divided by NIR plus red.
Whoa, easy there, Einstein. You lost me at NIR.
No worries. That formula basically gives us a number, an NDVI value, and that number ranges from -1 to +1. And that number gives us a snapshot of the plant's health. The higher the number, the healthier the plant. Okay, so it's like a plant health meter. But instead of a stethoscope, we're using satellites. That's some serious next-level farming right there. Let's get real for a sec. Do farmers actually spend their days analyzing satellite data and crunching numbers? Because that sounds kind of intense.
Actually, that's the cool part. They don't have to. Farmers these days, they can literally just pull out their phones, open an app, and boom, they've got this color-coded map of their fields, all based on NDVI data.
Hold on, wait, really? So they can see which parts of their fields need some extra TLC right from their phones?
Exactly. No more walking through acres and acres of crops, trying to spot problems. They can see right away if it's a water issue, pests, maybe even if the soil needs a nutrient boost.
That's insane. It's like having X-ray vision for your crops. Talk about a time saver. And speaking of water, the article mentioned using NDVI for smarter irrigation. What's the connection there?
Well, plants that are stressed out, especially from not having enough water, they'll have a lower NDVI value, remember. So farmers can use these NDVI maps to basically water the areas that need it most without wasting water on the parts that are doing just fine.
That's so smart. It's like giving each plant its own personal drinking fountain, which is super important these days with water being so precious.
Yeah.
What about fertilizer? I mean, that's a whole other issue, right?
Huge issue.
Like-
And NDVI can actually help there too. See, by looking at the NDVI data, farmers can get really precise with their fertilizing. Instead of just blanketing the entire field, they can target the areas that actually need it.
So they're like fertilizer surgeons. No more guesswork, just the right amount in the right place. That's got to be better for the environment and their wallets too. But it sounds like NDVI is way more than just a tool for individual farmers. It's like we can use this to look at the health of the entire planet, right? The article mentioned something about monitoring droughts with it.
Exactly. It's not just about individual plants or fields. It's about seeing the big picture. We can track changes in vegetation across entire regions, and that gives us this incredibly powerful tool to monitor things like droughts. Imagine being able to actually see a drought unfold in real time. That's the kind of insight NDVI can provide.
Ooh, that's kind of scary, but also really cool.
Oh.
It's like having a crystal ball for the planet's health.
Yeah.
And that kind of information is so crucial for everything from managing water resources to even predicting potential food shortages.
Yeah.
This is definitely way bigger than I thought when we started.
Absolutely. We're not just talking about keeping our lawns green here. This is about understanding the health of our planet and the resources we all need to survive. And with climate change, really impacting things, this kind of information is more important than ever.
No, totally makes sense. But how do we actually get this powerful tech into the hands of the people who need it? The article mentioned a company called Farminaut that's doing some really interesting stuff in this space.
Yeah, they are. Pharmanaut is a great example of how this tech is moving from those science labs into the real world. They've built this platform that takes all this complex NDVI data and makes it user-friendly, even for farmers who might not be tech wizards.
So they're like the bridge between all that complicated satellite stuff and the people who actually grow our food. It's like they're speaking plant language and farmer language all at the same time.
That's a great way to put it.
But does it actually work? Like, are there farmers out there who are seeing real benefits from using this stuff?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, the article mentioned this one case study, this wheat farm in Australia. They were able to cut down their fertilizer use by like a fifth.
Seriously,
Ah.
just by using this NDVI tech.
Yep. And get this, their yield stayed the same. They were pumping out just as much wheat with way less fertilizer.
That's amazing. Talk about efficient. But it's not just for the big guys,
Yeah.
right? What about smaller farms? Can they benefit from this too?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, there was this other example in the article. This coffee cooperative in Colombia, they were dealing with this horrible coffee rust outbreak.
Oh no, not coffee rust. That's like the kiss of death for coffee.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
But luckily, they were using Pharmanaut's NDVI system, and they were able to spot the problem early on. They targeted their treatment and saved the whole crop from disaster.
Wow, that's incredible. So NDVI is like this early warning system for farmers. They can see problems popping up before they even really start.
Exactly. It's all about giving farmers the information they need to make smarter decisions.
It's like we're on the verge of this whole agricultural revolution. It's really mind-blowing stuff. So what's next? Where do you see this whole NDVI thing going in the future?
Well, one thing that I'm really excited about is the potential for artificial intelligence and NDVI. Combining those two could be huge.
AI and plants. Now that's getting futuristic.
Think about it. Imagine being able to predict crop yields with like crazy accuracy, maybe even anticipate diseases before they even show up. That's the kind of game changer we could be looking at.
That would be incredible. We could potentially say goodbye to food shortages altogether.
Yeah.
That's a future I can definitely get behind.
It's an exciting time to be in agriculture, that's for sure.
It really is. It just goes to show you the power of human ingenuity, right? We can literally look at the color of plants from space and use that information to make our food systems more efficient and sustainable. It's really quite remarkable.
I completely agree.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today. But hey, before we go, next time you're enjoying a cup of coffee or maybe a nice sandwich, take a second to think about all the amazing technology that went into getting that food to your plate.
You might even have NDVI to thank for it.
It's more common than you think.
That's right. All right, folks, thanks for joining us on this wild ride into the world of NDVI. Catch you on the next deep dive.